Golf's no different from hockey. Requires talent, self-discipline.
Golf requires goofy pants and a fat ass. You should talk to my neighbor, the accountant, probably a great golfer, huge ass.
How do you measure yourself with other golfers? By height.
Is a very, very special honor.
I'm Paula Creamer, and you're listening.
Well, we're waiting.
Hi, this is Martin Cove, a.k.a. John Kreese from Cobra Kai, and you're listening to
Quiet, Please.
Let the word go out from here across the land. Let Daddy Noonan approve.
Hi, boys. Nice day for golf, eh? Quiet, please. Oh, you got secrets, eh?
Hey, this is Shooter McGavin. You're listening to the...
Hey, you guys. Hey, we're trying to have a podcast over here.
And here we are again without our quarterback, Alan Depew. I guess we're just going to do some running plays this week and keeping it conservative. But we do have the rest of the crew. Christian Azamis joining us from God knows where.
I'm actually home this week, which is unusual.
How about that? And being blessed with the presence of Brendan Elliott, author extraordinaire.
Good evening.
Good to have you back, Brendan. And then always a pleasure to have Mr. Robert Baldessari from the Bourbon State.
Cheers and cheers.
Beers and cheers.
Cheers and cheers. English, well, a little English accent.
Cheers.
Right on.
Cheers.
So tonight, I think the first thing that we should do tonight is really get into Bob's trivia question. What do you think about that?
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
We're leading off. That's exciting. Well, I figured we would be talking about the Women's U.S. Open, which was held at Riviera. Great event, iconic event, historic event. It has been won 4 times by 2 women in the history of the USGA Women's Open. Can you name the 2 women?
Let's just sit on that for a little while, and we'll come back and see if we have any, valid answers for that question. But I think the point is, let's get on and talk a little bit about Riviera and Nelly Korda.
Yep.
Christian, give us your take on what happened last week.
Well, I think it was awesome seeing her win, obviously, yet again. She's clearly dominant in LPGA golf and one of the best to ever do it, in my opinion. I like to always try to go outside of, the comfort zone a little bit, but that last putt there was a little wiggly. I'm just saying, she almost missed it from, 2 feet? Not even, but regardless, she got it done. And, again, she's just a phenomenal player, and there's so many more wins for her coming down the road. And Riviera looked fantastic, played fantastic, and just a great tournament overall to watch.
Yeah, I think we should talk about that last putt. The commentators said it was 2 feet 6 inches.
Okay.
And maybe it's just my inner anxiety, but as I'm looking at her walk up to that putt, I'm thinking it looked more like 4 feet than it looked like 2 feet. It just looked a little bit longer. And, she hits the putt. We've all seen the replay. It was a full 360.
Oh, yeah.
And for a while around that trip around the hole, it looked like it was not going down.
Well, she knew it too after she hit it. I mean, you could tell by her reaction that obviously she pulled it a smidge off the face, but it's still, at the end of the day, it went in. It doesn't matter. There's no pictures on a scorecard. So
yeah, I know it doesn't matter, but it came close to really mattering.
I agree. Absolutely. Could have been a niuld little, what would it have been, 3-way playoff if she missed that?
Two-way
playoff?
between
Okay.
her and Gabby Lopez, I think. But the point to me, though, is that she's a hero. She's got a smile on her face, a little oops moment for her. That could have turned into disaster.
Oh, yeah.
Disaster.
Absolutely.
Brendan, what are your thoughts on?
Well, that's what I was thinking when it just snuck in the side door. Is like, ooh, that was almost a Rory Bryson moment, Not to poo-poo on Rory, but we saw that happen. That very same scenario where He missed a shorty, but I'm kind of like Christian. I'm not gonna take that and run with it as the story. I'm gonna just talk about how phenomenal she's been over the course of the last 3 years, and even though last year she didn't have any wins, statistically she was just as sharp as she was or has been. But that 24 year and now putting this 26 year in there, she's fast tracking to the Hall of Fame. And I don't know. I really think that she could get whatever the version of the LPGA Grand Slam, she could really at least give it a run. I don't know. Do you guys think she could?
Easily.
Yeah.
Not even question. Easily.
Yeah.
Bobby, what's your take?
Well, when I saw that putt, I remember when the old cliches, a lot of sports is a game of inches. That was a game of micro. I mean, that was a micro. And then I started thinking, and you see this a lot. I mean, these are the best players with the best equipment that's best custom fit in the best shape of their life, playing on the best agronomic conditions, practicing. I could go on and on and on and on, and she almost missed that. And so for the average golfer that says, oh, God, how did I miss that short putt? Dude, easily you can miss a short putt. These best players ever, you're human. You can succumb to some of the pressure. I mean, did you see that green? I mean, it's ultra pure. That playing condition was beautiful. I was also struck by going into the event. She was probably the odds-on favorite and didn't have a great start, but was able to just sort of find her game. She played really well Monday, Tuesday in the practice rounds, and all of a sudden Thursday it wasn't there. So, it's good that she could find her game, and then finish and make it, exciting for TV.
I'm going to make a little hockey reference here. I don't know if you guys saw game 2, I think. Carolina and Vegas the other night. It was an unbelievable game. It was all Vegas in the beginning, and then Carolina comes back. They're in overtime, and all of these razor thin things that are happening, and the game ends with a goal off the backboards and then hits the goalie skate, who had an unbelievable game after coming in relief. And point being that it is a razor's edge in sports. There's so little between the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, if you will, right? It's just unbelievably just so close to being tragic or being victorious. And it's just so hard to even fathom how close they can come to either being successful or not.
And golf's the ultimate, right? That's true of any sport, what you said, but golf is truly the ultimate. I used to think, maybe all individual sports, tennis. I don't even think tennis can really say that like golf can, because you've got a field once it's cut down of 70 players that maybe half of them could make a run on the last. You could get somebody to shoot 6-7 under on the final day and come from behind.
Well, if you look at what happened at the PGA this year, all of those names within 3 or 4 shots of the lead. I don't think that's ever happened before. It was amazing how cluttered that leaderboard was.
Andy, quick comment on the Carolina goalie. I thought, oh boy, that was a Bill Buckner kind of moment-ish.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah.
And he can have no control over, seeing behind his head. It's just a little crazy, but
yeah,
it was a anticlimactic way to end an unbelievable game.
Yeah.
And that would have been an anticlimactic way for Nelly to end her tournament. It would have been a playoff. I get it. But, that putt lips out just as easy, if not easier, than it lips in.
I think there were some good secondary stories too. Obviously, she's going to take top billing anytime she's out there, anytime she wins. But the play of Charlie Hall was phenomenal. And then 3 amateurs finishing inside the top 20. If you look at the doorstep of what's to come in ladies golf. It's just so good. There's you look at Stanford and the powerhouse that they become, and all the ladies that are moving up into the tour, and it's just such a good sign. Same with the men's game. I mean, we'll get into that, I'm sure, with the longest day of golf, but seeing some of these high school kids making the US Open, it's the same thing on the ladies tour.
Yeah, but I was going to talk about this tonight too. There were 3 of them in the top 20. There were 5 of them in the top 30.
Right.
And, you know, Aphrodite and Chiara Romero and Astrid Talley and I forget the other 2, but that's amazing.
That's awesome.
It's amazing, and I think it's one of those things that happens more in the women's game than it does happen in the men's game. But to your point, there is some of that, and we'll talk about the longest day in golf here in a little bit. But it's an amazing commentary on the development of young female golfers in the game, and I think there's an equal conversation about how quickly some of these great talents disappear too.
True.
It really is. I remember I was complaining on this podcast a year or 2 ago, 2 years ago, I think, the ladies US Open, the favorite was Rose Zhang. And I was not having any of that. And I just remember thinking it's just another example of how we anoint somebody stardom before they've actually done much of anything to earn it. And I don't know where Rose Zhang is. Like, when's the last time you saw her hit a golf shot on TV?
Good question.
2 years ago.
She finished up school. I think she took a year.
She went back to do that.
Right. But, and to your point, I guess another sub story was Michelle Wie, and playing golf with my brother yesterday. He used to work for Golf Week. He used to write for Golf Week, and he wrote a pretty, this is early 2000s when she was still a teenager and played the tournament in Hawaii and stuff. He wrote an article that was very, very critical of her father and how he was kind of pushing her. And we were talking about that yesterday, because obviously that was probably her last time teeing it up as a professional. We might see her here and there, but oh,
you mean like Lexi Thompson?
Yeah. Well, not quite like Lexi Thompson, but the fact is, Michelle Wie had all the talent in the world, and it goes back to back then. It wasn't as common as it is now, but the pushing of these kids, and it's a different time now than when she was a teenager. But you said some of these names we don't see anymore, and I feel like it's because of that, because of the getting them out there too quickly before they can handle it.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, Christian, Alan wants to know if you would have made that putt on the last green that Nelly squeezed in there.
Probably not. Let's be honest here. My putting is atrocious.
Well, let's also be honest that Alan would have made that dead center.
Oh yeah,
but it might have been for 6 though.
Right.
Yeah, of course exactly. Absolutely.
Just kidding, Alan. Just kidding.
No, I think it just goes also to when it comes down to just like, you know, we've seen this before in professional golf where people have missed short putts. We just saw it on Live a short while ago when Bryson won, when I forgot who that was, but he missed like a 1.5 foot putt. It happens. I mean, it's just the nature of the game. It's just golf itself. Like, there's so many things that play a factor in to why, even though you have a 1-shot, 2-shot, 5-shot lead going in the last hole, you never know. And that's why it's always awesome, in my opinion, seeing a lot of these tournaments take place. And again, hats off to Korda for getting it done. But it's just amazing to look more into. We could talk for hours about it, obviously, but I think it goes to show you that, like, you have to be locked in every single second of each shot that you're hitting, especially on a Sunday, to win a tournament, let alone a major. And it just goes to the testament of who they are as athletes.
Yeah, Bobby, let's talk a little bit about the venue, because that word came up quite a bit over the telecast this weekend. And you know how much we at the Quiet Please podcast love events and venues. But Riviera is just such an awesome place to play golf.
I wish I could play, or I've never played there, but obviously I have watched tournaments there back from the 70s, and it's iconic, and it's a brilliant design, and its strategy, and it's everything you'd want on a golf course. And it was great that the women were playing there. I mean, so many good things you can say about the facility, about the course. I mean, even the first tee, it's right up by the clubhouse, and that par 5. But I did want to bring up one thing where I did read an article, and Charlie Hull was actually quoted in there. And as great as the venue was, and you have a great champion, you have the best of the women golfers, it's a USGA event, the attendance was not what everybody thought it would be. And Charlie Hull said, I mean, that seems to be a bit of a refrain. It's an interesting dichotomy here because the women are playing for more money than ever. Women's sports globally is over in the billions now. It's a great progress. It's a great success. Unfortunately, on the LPGA Tour, for attendance, spectators, it's not quite translating. And she said, maybe we should give away tickets for free. Just open the gates. Just get people out there to see what's happening and then let them get connected. The rates were probably in 50, 60. I think it was up to high 60 or 70, what I read. So it was interesting. So, I mean, and that's the beauty of those courses we've seen for decades, that all the holes, number 10, 16, 17, 18, and 1, and just, I mean, it's just a great venue.
Brendan, what are your thoughts on the whole ticket thing and the attendance thing? I have a little bit on that myself, but why don't you let us know your thoughts there?
I mean, for as good as the female game is right now, I just think it's a shame that more people aren't going out and experiencing, watching it live, but also they do a lot of stuff for the community. And I feel bad in a sense for the community-based thing that comes along with golf tournaments and the fundraising thing. And, you don't get that many people through the door, and it kind of hurts that a little bit. I love the idea of giving tickets away. I think it's a brilliant move. It doesn't have to be something that's a permanent thing, but it's like anything. You get somebody in there that hasn't experienced it, and once they experience for the first time, they'll be like, that was a lot of fun. I want to go and do that again.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, as a consumer of sport, the thought of getting in your car and going to fight traffic and do all the things that it takes to get there and park and take a shuttle and all those things, it's so accessible to watch golf now digitally.
Yeah.
It used to be you'd only get the back nine on Saturday and Sunday. That was a golf telecast. And now you can see it, from start to finish. And you can see way more. You can see way more on television or on streaming. And it's just, to me, it's a tough thing. I know there is an excitement value of going there, being there, seeing the girls in person. There is an excitement value to that. I just think there's a competitive, just, factor being played out here that, probably wasn't there. Even 10 years ago, the amount of coverage has changed and more now than it was then.
Well, it goes for the LPGA and the PGA, right? When they had the Truist here, I mean, I was thinking about going here on the weekend because I live 15 minutes away from Quail Hollow, and I'm like, it's $200 plus to go there for the day, and it's not worth it for me. And I'm a huge avid golfer, so I think to an extent I would entertain the idea of giving tickets away, going off of Brendan's point, but I think it has to be, when's enough? What's the number and that you're going to think of, especially for a U.S. Open and that category? Like, for me personally, I would rather go back to Quail Hollow and watch the PGA than go back and watch the Truist, especially going for the U.S. Open at Riviera. Like, I would make the effort to go out of my way to spend the money to take a shuttle, to go to the golf course, to see Nelly and all these top players in the world, compared to if Riviera was just hosting an LPGA normal event that you may not get every top player in the world. So I guess it's 2-in-1 how you look at it.
Yeah, I feel like Charlie's point is interesting, because what she's really doing is weighing the value of promoting the game by giving away free tickets and ticket revenue. Yeah. Because is ticket revenue really a thing? I mean, does it really matter? Is it as important as making sure a lot of people get exposed to the game?
Yeah.
The other point here is kids, because it's all about kids, and a kid is not going to sit there and watch golf on TV, but they certainly have a great time being there in person. So,
but outside of, go ahead, Bob. I'm sorry.
I was just going to mention this because I read a fascinating article. It might have been in Front Office Sports or whatever, the many things I get, and it had to do with ticket prices in general. And this generation, Christian, I'm looking at you, or younger than us, when we grew up, you could get to the bleachers for $2 and go to Fenway. Yeah, we're being, geographical here, but you could get to sports wherever, Pittsburgh, LA. The families could make it there. The kids get acclimated to real sports, being in the stadium, seeing the drama, seeing the excitement, and they get hooked. But then somewhere recently, the ticket prices are so exorbitant. I mean, this NBA Finals is a great example.
Yep.
But just even day-to-day NFL games are getting crazy. A family of four, it's $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 just to go and just do nothing but really get in there. So there's a tricky thought process here with sporting events, people going live, ticket prices. If younger people don't go, or people in general don't go, to Andy's point, you watch it on TV and it's great. Are you really going to buy the shirt, the hat? Are you going to be, that's my team, I'm supporting that team? You're just a casual observer.
And Alan's point on his comment is that for the ShopRite in New Jersey, they do give away a lot of tickets, and they do have amazing crowds. So it's all about valuing, the participation, or the fan participation in person versus, ticket revenue. And I think it's an interesting.
Any sporting event you go to, it could be a golf tournament, it could be an NFL, it could be an NBA, whatever you go. Like, I can tell you from personal experience, we've all been there. You're spending on average $1,000 to $2,000 easy when you go to a professional sporting event. I don't care if it's the LPGA, I don't care if it's the NBA Finals, whatever situation you're going to. When we went to the PGA last year, tickets were almost $1,400. Now you're factoring in merchandise because of what? I'm going to go buy a Grayson golf shirt because it says PGA Championship on it and spend $200 when that shirt's not worth $200. I think some of it has gotten out of hand to a point where when you look at the average American and the economy where we are today, they can't afford it. So like, why would I want to go out and spend thousands of dollars when I can literally drink a 6-pack of beer on my couch if I wanted to and enjoy the comfort of my own home?
No, Christian, you have a bourbon.
Okay, bourbon, exactly. But that's it's astronomical out of price. It's ridiculous in my opinion, and I don't know if they're ever going to change it, but they probably not for a while.
It blows my mind that tickets to a golf event were $1,400.
Well, keep in mind that was for we had
I get it.
6 of us, so 6 tickets, $1,400, but still. That's not factoring in each of us getting, a mug is $35, like a coffee mug.
Still a lot of money.
It's just crazy.
There is a formula out there, kind of the Masters, where they do keep for the level of an event. It is relatively inexpensive. Even the tickets, the food obviously is historically inexpensive, and even the merchandise isn't bad. You can spend a lot of merchandise, but you can also get a flag for $30 and a chair and some other, items and not spend that much money. So the Masters, to me, and we can all probably agree on this, is the ultimate tournament in terms of fan experience.
For sure. Brendan, we love the venue discussion. And while Riviera was awesome this week, let's talk a little bit about Memorial and about Muirfield.
I feel so bad about the weather because it's such a great tournament. I love that tournament. It's just like Bay Hill and the Genesis, and this is Jack's tournament at the Memorial. When you bring the weight of those big names in there and it's their events and the history of the Memorial, I just feel bad when you have things like weather play a factor. But once they had that marathon day on Sunday, the golf was really, really solid. And it's a hard golf course. I love that Jack loves to make that place as hard as he possibly can.
I agree. I think the sweet spot for me is that 11, 12 under number. Yes, I think it's awesome that, because a lot of guys were coming down the stretch. Making par at 17 and 18 was a task and a half.
Oh yeah.
And,
Yep.
And it's just such a great golf course. They were talking about the par fives where I forget who it was. Cam Young on one of the par fives laid up one day from 240 and the other day from 225. That just goes to show you that this is not cookie cutter golf. It's more going on there. There's more thought put into that. And yeah, I get it. Jack's an architect. He's done a lot of great work. People love to criticize him. I love Nicklaus golf courses. I really do. But I think the cool thing here is that he gets to tweak it every year. There's nothing really.
He does. He definitely does.
Yeah.
I think it's just funny that Roger Maltby won the very first one.
Yep.
By the way, did you guys see they reproduced his pants?
Yeah. That was classic.
That was quite a pair of trousers there, I must say.
That was classic 70s. I mean, that was back in the Sansa belts and the Defini shirts and all those names that bring back memories.
It was crazy to look at.
The Memorial was always shaped up well. Can you hear me, by the way? Because my AirPods just died, so I had to do a quick swap. Okay, perfect. I think one thing I wanted to point out about the Memorial and how tough, I don't think people realize how tough the second round played and how hard that golf course is, let alone when you factor in wind. And when you looked at JT Poston's 65, that was, amazing. I would say, probably the best round of golf that we've seen on tour this year, just from a standpoint of he was in full control of his game. But I would say more so than he can go out and shoot 65 probably whenever he wants. But I think if you were to ask him the amount of birdies that he had, the amount of putts that he was making, and the shots that he was hitting was just remarkable, especially with those winds that were picking up on Friday morning for him, all day Friday, I should say. So I just wanted to really, if he is listening to this or somehow gets in front of him, I really want to tip my cap to him because that was an unbelievable round of golf.
Oh, JT Poston listens to our show regularly.
I'm just saying, because that was, you see some of these holes, and I mean, some of the, especially the par fives, Jack's done a lot to that golf course over the years, and the course just, it keeps, every single year, it keeps looking better and better and better. And, it was a great tournament. I'm ecstatic for JT because he had a really bad year coming into this tournament. He didn't have a top 25 finish in, I don't think, all season. And now he automatically gets a win. He puts, $4 million in his pocket. And just the confidence that could potentially bring him now down the road. It's heartbreak for Gerard because, he was right there. But it was just it was a great win for JT. And I will say, though, he had a very bad back nine on Sunday. You could tell his swing was getting all over the place and he couldn't keep the ball in front of him. But he found a way to get it done. And at the end of the day, he was the one hoisting the trophy. So.
All right, can we just do a quick ceremony?
I see the banner. I see the banner.
Guy. I'm sure everybody saw this guy, but Ryan Gerard is on the 18th tee and he's got his 3-wood out. Just stripes one down the middle, and some idiot fan has to say something like
Get in the bunker
or whatever he actually said. And Ryan Gerard picks up his tee and he's like, not this time or not today or whatever he did say. It was an awesome clapback to another idiot. Don't be that guy.
I didn't think that's where you were going with the "don't be that guy."
Oh, well, you know, there are other times and places to talk about other things.
It's a gentle "don't be that guy" this week.
It's a very gentle, anonymous "don't be that guy." Let's talk a little bit about the longest day in golf here before we get too deep into the show, because I think this is always, and can I say this too? The Golf Channel does an amazing job covering that Monday final qualifying for the U.S. Open. The logistics of getting out there to 8 or 9 different sites, I'm not sure what the number is, but having reporters and play-by-play and cameras, like that's an amazing thing that they do. And I think it's must-see TV too. Bobby, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they get to all 10 sites. If I read something about this, but I think they were at all 10. I mean, it's one of the coolest days of golf in the world, really. I mean, it's just so cool. And the stories that come out of that, I think, are beyond special. There's Bill Haas with his son caddying. He shoots 63 in the morning. You're like, oh, my God, he's going to make it. I think he shot 72 in the afternoon, and he missed by 6. What I'm struck with is, man, some of these scores were really low, like really spectacular, really good scoring. That gets better and better. So I remember when we were kids, like even 100, maybe 200 would get through. I mean, these guys are just lighting it up. But I love the stories. I love that Golf Channel can cover this. I think it becomes a really special day, and they get a lot of really good shots out there. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a technological big kudos to them.
So my buddy Brian Keenan, who went to Ballin Isles yesterday he's part of the Florida State Golf Association and does some officiating. His duty yesterday was to be in the group with Giuseppe, I don't know his last name, but he's a 16-year-old.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Who was medalist at Ballin Isles.
Yeah.
And Brian's a really good player. You know, he played in the Senior British Open a couple of years ago. But he was telling me that this kid, if you'd see him on the range, you wouldn't give him a second look. He doesn't hit it very far. He doesn't hit it very solid. He said, but the kid knows how to score. And he ran around that place with some of the best players in the world on that qualifying day and was medalist, which is pretty amazing. But Brendan, how about the number of young kids that were out there yesterday doing their thing?
And you know, what capped that whole thing off, obviously, what's probably going to get the most notice is Miles Russell getting in, but having Charlie Woods on his back. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that those guys were as tight as they are, and they're, you know, going to be teammates. But that kind of put the spotlight, I think, on how many high schoolers got through. Was it 3 or 4?
I don't know, but it was
something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. It's an amazing day, Bobby.
Yeah, well, it was really quick. I used to work at Ballin Isles when it was called JDM for John Douglas MacArthur back in the late 80s. And the East Course is where they held the PGA Championship. They had the Golf World Cup or something. When I worked there, there were flags from around the world lining the 18th hole. One of my first jobs, I had to put the flags down at night. You know, you remember those things, but I got to play the North, the South, and the East all the time. And that East course is unbelievably tough. That was back in the 80s. And to see what they're shooting now, I mean, that's I don't know anything about this young kid, but I mean, generationally, in every few years, you're seeing more of these kids. And I go back to this, we've said it on the podcast before, going back 20, 30 years and moving forward with equipment, technology, instruction, ability to play good courses early. Everything is just a wave of kids are getting better when they're younger.
We're gonna do another "Don't Be That Guy" for the longest day of golf.
Yes, there we go.
So there was a playoff in Canada.
All right.
Site yesterday, it was 8 for 3, and they were all tour players, and it went the hole that they were playing. They kept playing the same hole. It was like a driver wedge par 4, and there was a birdie on the first run through. There was another birdie on the second run through. By the time they got to the third or maybe even fourth time playing this hole, there were 4 guys left from one spot, and Max McGreevy hit it in there like 12 feet and made the putt for birdie to get the last spot. And Adam Svensson and Matt Wallace tapped in for par. Svensson had like 4 feet for par, and he picked up his mark. And I saw it happening, and the referee was like, "What are you doing? There's alternates you're playing off for too." So, I felt really bad for him, but wow, what a pretty tough mistake there.
There was a few takeaways that I had from the longest day. Obviously, first, I got to give my hats off to Kevin Roy for playing great golf. Syracuse native.
Awesome.
For qualifying, played unbelievable round of golf. And I think when you look at just the 10 qualifying spots, I think Ohio was the biggest field in Springfield. I think that was the most stacked field out of all of it. And Neil Shipley played phenomenal golf. Same with Zach Blair. They beat Brant Snedeker, who literally just went on tour. Tony Finau, who's a huge name. You got a lot of other guys that we haven't really – like one name in particular that I saw was J.B. Holmes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Haven't heard that guy's name in probably since I was a kid.
He hasn't played in a U.S. Open since 2019, they said.
But I think he was like 8-9 under par or something like that. And I forgot where he qualified out of. But again, like that it was awesome to watch. And I have to go off of what Andy said too. Kudos to Golf Channel for just an unbelievable coverage of that. But I think that it just goes to show you where golf is as a whole, regardless of whatever tour that you're playing on. I think everybody golf's in a great spot. We've said it for years, and we've said it a long time on the show, that there are so many people that are knocking on the door. And the last person I want to say really quick is Ben Coles. He wins in Greer, South Carolina, hops on a jet, goes to Maryland, qualifies, and it just phenomenal golf all around. So
pretty amazing. Okay, we're gonna roll back to Bob's brain teaser. So let's repeat the brain teaser question and then see if anyone has any reasonable answer.
Yeah, we teased it earlier, didn't we? Big tease. So in the history of the United States Women's Open Championship with the USGA, 2 women have won the event 4 times. It's the most that anybody's won it. 4 ladies have won it 3 times. That's a bonus question. But can you name the 2 women that have won the U.S. Women's Open the 4 times? There you go.
Give me an era.
Yeah, one of them is pretty far back, and the other is.
Oh, I'm out on that one.
Maybe not quite the founders, but one of them is. You're looking at the 50s, 60s. The other one's 60s into the 70s.
Patty Bird. Dial a friend. Call your grandfather.
I think I would have got one of them.
Is Joanne Carter one of them?
No. On the amateur side, she did well, but on the U.S. Open. One of them is renowned as maybe having the best swing ever.
Mickey Wright.
Right. The other one actually had a set of clubs. I saw some ladies actually have
Louise Suggs.
Nope. Pretty close.
Patty Bird.
Nope.
That's a great guess too.
Yeah. Betsy Rawls.
Oh,
Betsy Rawls. I would have never in a million years.
Yeah, I don't think I would have got that.
I was with you on that one, Christian. No idea.
And then the just so you have the info, the 4 women.
Annika.
3 times Annika, Babe Zaharias,
Hollis
Stacy, and Susie Burning. And by the way, Annika and Hollis Stacy will be with me at the LPGA Legends event at the
Nice.
Woodford Club the first week of August. How about that?
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we've come to the final segment of the show here, the 18th. Is it the green? Is it the tee? What is it? It's the green, I guess, right? Christian, give us your final thoughts.
You know, given Alan's not here, it's whatever we want it to be.
That's
Right.
right.
And I can't even give him crap this week for a shoulder turn. I know he's sitting right now on his couch watching us, so I have to say it to him. All right. I'm going to get a text from him later, but it's all good. It's all
Box
obviously every week. No, I'm excited. Obviously for the RBC this week. It's a great tournament to watch. Always on tour. There's a lot of bigger names that are in there, guys that are playing well. And then obviously just looking ahead, looking forward to Shinnecock and looking forward to that U.S. Open. I think it's going to be a great event. Congrats again to Kevin Roy and all the guys who have punched their ticket to the U.S. Open. And that's my final thought. Just short and easy this week.
Very good. Okay, Brendan.
Got 3 quick things. Anybody that scrolls through Instagram needs to check out Sam the Scratch Golfer. This young man, he's a high school kid, unassuming kid, heavy kid, which I can relate to, but he just took up golf and he's putting himself out there. And my brother sent me the link to his profile. And the kid doesn't have much money and he wants to prove that, you know, you can get into this game without a lot of money and improve. And he's working hard every day. So I just said, I'm going to do lessons with you online. And I put a plan together for this kid and he's busting his hump. So check out Sam the Scratch Golfer. He got clothes from Breezy Golf and Joey Coldcuts and all those guys. He's already up to almost 7,000 followers. And he literally just started this like 3 weeks ago. So check him out. Second thing, I'm so excited, but disappointed at the same time that I can't be there. But this Friday, they're inducting me into our Norwich, New York Golf Hall of Fame. So I'm super excited about that. Wish I could be there, but I couldn't swing it. And then the last thing, my student up in New York who plays at my home course there in Norwich, he's been on a tear this spring. He won the Northeastern New York PGA Junior. He qualified in the AJGA, shot 1 under in that. He won another event. Oh, he won a section championship. And after the first day of the state championship, he shot 1 under. He was in 4th place behind all D1 commits, and he's an 8th grader. He did finish tied for 14th. He fell back after shooting 1 under in the first round, shot 76 the second day. But Brevin Bennett, the kid, just continues to impress, and I'm so excited about the future with him.
That's awesome. Mr. Baldessari.
Well, we got a Hall of Famer with us. Congratulations, Brendan.
Thank you.
Blake Golf Applause. Are you signing today?
No.
Okay. Well,
Brendan Elliott, HOF.
Yeah. Well, I guess a couple of comments. We're heading into summer. School's coming out. If you're listening to this and you have a young person that is Brendan just talked about this. It's perfect timing from what I was just going to mention. There is a program called Youth on Course. If you go to youthoncourse.com, you can play thousands and thousands of golf courses for $5 or less. Usually $5, 18 holes, $3 for 9 holes. It's walking only. We do it at the Woodford Club. Kentucky, the Kentucky section is a big supporter of this. It's a fantastic way to play some golf as a kid. You're out there walking, you're playing golf. We hear these stories from years ago. My parents dropped me off at the municipal for $2. I played for $1, had a hot dog and a drink for, at the turn or something. So youthoncourse.com, you can find a lot of information. You can sign up there. And a perfect little alignment with that is drive, chip, and putt. So, obviously close to my heart. But go to drivechipandputt.com. Local qualifying is happening in 50 states. Every state has a local qualifier, even Alaska. Should even be in Puerto Rico, I think. It used to be when I was with it. But some really fun ways to get into the game of golf and have some competition. So drivechipandputt.com, youthoncourse.com. And final quick comment, we were talking about this earlier. If you love the history of golf like we all do, and I'm a huge history buff, on Facebook there's a guy named Ian, I-A-N, Ian Ellis. He's posting some of the really neatest old videos, old commercials of golf. It's just some fantastic stuff. You start watching it, half an hour will go by, and you hear the commentator saying Raymond Floyd or Hubert Green or Dow Finsterwall, whoever is 180 yards hitting a 5-iron. It just brings back memories.
It is an awesome account. I've been watching it too. I love it. It'll absorb some minutes and hours for you if you let it, but
yep,
it's pretty great. So my final thought this week, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the guy I've been bashing lately, Scotty Scheffler, for his behavior, both on and off the golf course, in front of a microphone anyway, off the golf course, not anywhere else. But I'm going to give him a little pass for this week, because if any of you saw what happened, he had a shot on a par 3 that he loved, and the wind gusted and it knocked it down, ended up in the water, penalty area, penalty shot, all that stuff. He's walking off the tee and he's just moaning and whining and complaining like we all have about the shot. And I think everybody was giving him grief because they thought he was blaming Ted for the shot. And in my take, we've all been there. We've all hit that shot that looks and feels great, and it ends up, whether it catches a gust or whatever, ends up in the wrong spot. And it does suck. So for him to be able to blow off some steam about the shot, I didn't take it as him blaming Ted at all. He was just trying to say, you don't know how frustrating this is. Like, I did everything I was supposed to do and the ball ended up in the water. So as much as I've been on Scotty, I don't think this is on him. I think they all deserve a right to be disappointed and voice their disappointment after something like that does happen. So, Alan, come back soon. We miss you. Hope you have power in your house tonight, sooner than later. And next week we're U.S. Open week, so everybody looking forward to that. And have a good night, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.